Have you ever felt too busy for what truly matters? This is a story about finding the most important words, just when it seems too late. Sarah was a woman who lived in the fast rhythm of the city. Her world was her office, a place of ringing phones, endless emails, and deadlines that chased each other. Life was a race, and she was always running. In a quiet town far from the noise lived her father, Mr. Jenkins. His world was his small, sunlit garden. Every Sunday, like clockwork, he would call his daughter. His voice was always gentle. "Hello, my dear. How are you?" he would ask. And Sarah, her eyes still on her computer screen, would always give the same hurried reply. "Hi, Dad. I'm so busy right now. Can I call you later?" He would smile softly on his end of the line. "Of course. Don't work too hard." But later became a promise that never found its day. Sarah was always busy, and the calls grew further apart. Then, on an ordinary Tuesday that would change everything, her phone rang. The name on the screen was not her father's, but his neighbor's. A cold dread settled in her chest before she even answered. "Sarah," the neighbor's voice was urgent. "You need to come. It's your dad." The drive to her old town felt like the longest journey of her life. When she arrived, his garden was blooming, a burst of color and life. But the house itself was silent, a deep, heavy silence that made her heart ache. Her father was in the hospital, the doctor explaining in low tones that he was very weak. Sitting by his bed, holding his frail hand in hers, Sarah was swallowed by a wave of regret. "I'm so sorry, Dad," she whispered, tears blurring her vision. "I was always busy." Her father's eyes fluttered open. There was no accusation in them, only a deep, tired love. He gave her a faint smile and, with great effort, pointed to the small wooden box on the bedside table. "For you," he breathed. With trembling hands she opened it. Inside she found no jewelry or money. Instead, the box was filled to the brim with handwritten letters, dozens of them, each envelope addressed in his familiar script. On every single one he had written, "For my Sarah when she has time." For years, whenever she was too busy to listen, he had poured his thoughts onto paper. He wrote about the yellow bird that visited his roses, the funny-shaped cloud he saw, memories of her childhood laughter. His voice, silenced on the phone, had found its way into these pages. Sarah took out the first letter and began to read. As her eyes moved over the words of a simple story about a bird and a yellow dress, the dam of her regret broke. She cried, but for the first time they were not just tears of sadness. They were tears of understanding. She finally saw that the most important things, love, time, connection, were not in her hectic office, but had been waiting for her here all along, in a box of patiently written letters. Her father had given her his last message, and she finally had the time to hear it. Sarah stayed beside her father until the night grew quiet and the machines spoke in slow, steady beeps. She read letter after letter aloud, her voice trembling as if he could still hear her. Sometimes his fingers tightened around hers, just slightly, as though the words were reaching him somewhere beyond pain. Before dawn, his breathing softened, then faded like a sentence gently coming to an end. The garden outside welcomed the morning sun, but Mr. Jenkins did not open his eyes again. The days that followed passed like a blur. Neighbors came with food, soft words, and shared memories of the kind old man who loved his roses and never missed a Sunday call. At the small funeral, Sarah stood quietly, holding the wooden box close to her chest. It felt heavier than it looked, not because of its weight, but because of all the time it carried inside. When she returned to the city, the office lights felt harsher than before. The ringing phones sounded empty. Emails waited, deadlines hovered, but something in her had changed. During lunch breaks, she opened one letter at a time. Her father's words followed her everywhere, on crowded trains, in silent evenings, in moments when she almost reached for her phone to say, "I'm too busy." Slowly, Sarah began to choose differently. She left the office on time. She called people just to hear their voices. She listened, really listened, without watching the clock. On weekends, she visited the old house, tending the garden, greeting the yellow bird as if it were an old friend. The last letter in the box was shorter than the rest. In shaky handwriting, her father had written, "Time is the only thing we never get back. If you are reading this, my dear, promise me you will use yours well." Sarah folded the letter carefully and smiled through her tears. She could not go back and answer all the calls she had missed, but she could answer the ones still waiting. And this time she would never say later.